Today we'll be reading Chapter 3 and go straight to the source. Remember how the author organized this book? This next chapter is about another kind of primary source, artifacts. Our primary sources are images, artifacts, documents. Chapter 3, If These Things Could Talk. Artifacts and objects are another kind of primary source. An ancient Greek vase is an artifact. So is your great-grandmother's cooking pot or a wedding dress. The glossary is in the back of our book. It gives us the vocabulary words throughout the book and their meanings. Artifacts are objects made or changed by people. You can find many images or artifacts online. As with images, think about what you see and what you wonder, but you will think about these ideas in different ways when studying artifacts. Start by looking at the object and describing what you see. Ask yourself, what color is the object? What materials is it made of? What shape is it? What is its size? What condition is it in? Worn, shiny, cracked. If you found this object, how would you describe it? So a vase, a pot, and a dress are all artifacts. They are all made by people. What about a face carved into the side of a mountain? Would that be an artifact? It would be, since it was a man-made change in a natural object. Again today, I'll give you an example of an artifact and ask you to write questions about it. It won't be a photograph this time, though. When you describe what you see, be careful to do just that. Describe. Do not infer. Imagine that you have lost the object. How would you describe what it looks like? If you are examining an artifact in a museum or online, there may be a sign or caption that describes the object. That will give you extra clues and information. Now think about the meaning of your observations. What do the clues tell you? For example, number 1, does the object seem fancy or simple? That might help you understand how much money the owner had. Does the object look new or worn? This can help you determine if the object was used often. Number 3, think about the 5 W's plus how that reporters use to learn information. A, who might have used the object? B, what was it used for? C, when was it used? D, where was it used? E, why was it used? F, how did you reach those conclusions? I can make a connection here. These journalistic questions are the same ones I use to make super sentences. They're also the ones reporters try to answer when they write a news story. Are you still wondering anything about the object? Do you have any questions? Write them down. They will give you new research paths to follow. Let's try studying an artifact. Did you know that the history of the Ferris wheel dates back more than 100 years? If you're lucky, you might be able to write a modern version of one. But what if you wanted to study early models? One option is to look online for photos. The Commons on Flickr has many historical photographs from leading museums, archives, and libraries. Archives, places where historical documents are preserved. On the next page is a photograph of the first Ferris wheel in the world, back in 1893. Notice the type of notes you might take as you study an image of this artifact. When we look at the Ferris wheel, we discover some information. For example, we get a good idea of its size, but we are left with new questions. To answer those questions, you need to do some more research. There are 3 kinds of notes a person can make about an artifact. There are things you see, then there are questions you can think of, and there are thoughts you might have. In green, who invented this? How many people could ride in each car? How long did it take for the wheel to turn? How many times around were riders allowed to go? How much did it cost to build? When was it built? Was it ever taken down? In red, looks like train cars. In blue, today's Ferris wheels often have benches. And green, why did they change? Blue, I think it's amazing that this Ferris wheel dates back to 1893. Green, what is the wheel made of? Metal? Red, this isn't a U.S. flag. Green, what kind of flag is it? Red, the Ferris wheel is huge. Green, how did people construct it? Did they build it here? Or build it somewhere else first? If so, where? Red, look how tiny the people seem. Blue, that helps me realize how enormous the Ferris wheel is. For your written response, you're going to look at a picture, and I want you to write at least 2 things you see, 2 questions you wonder about, and 2 things you think about the picture.